Hi everyone, it's me, Arielle, and it's Wednesday Warriors. And this week I'm going to be talking about self-soothing techniques and ways to really listen to yourself and nurture yourself. And this is really in regards to life in general, not necessarily um, in regards to eating disorder recovery, because even though it's important in eating disorder recovery, it's really important for everyone to recognize what they need and to give those things to themselves. And a lot of the time in eating disorder recovery, we're not able to fully give ourselves what we may need to give ourselves without a lot of effort. So, if you know you're supposed to be eating a certain number of meals or a certain number of proteins or, doing certain things that are very by the book and logical, it's very difficult for us to do those things depending upon what stage we're at in our recovery from an eating disorder. And it then takes a lot of effort and it's very difficult and it takes energy. But these self-soothing techniques are things that you can do and use all of the time. And it doesn't matter if you're having a good day or a bad day, although certainly sometimes they'll be more helpful on a bad day than on a good day. But regardless of all of the stuff that you should be doing and have to do, these things can always apply and they won't take a lot of effort on your part. You just have to remember to do them because you deserve them. There are a lot of different things that you can try as far as self-soothing techniques, and they're going to be different for everyone. They're sort of like the idea of a coping bank or a wellness toolbox. Different people are going to put different things in that toolbox. Different people like different things, they enjoy different things, they have different hobbies, different things soothe them. So just going to give you a couple of examples that maybe you can go by, maybe will inspire you or give you some other ideas. One thing I like to do is I like to buy cards for people, for my friends, especially those that live farther away from me, and I really try to find cards that speak to me. And if they have a beautiful quote or a lovely picture or something that really reminds me of that person, I pick them up and I send them out when I have the time. And I feel like even though I didn't create the card, I put some kind of thought into how it speaks to me regarding that person. And sometimes I pick up little cards that I like because they just speak to me for me. And it's not that I'm sending myself a card, but I often keep the card for myself. Maybe I'll tack it up on a bulletin board, maybe I'll prop it up on my desk at home. Wherever I really most need to see it, I just like the sentiment of some things that I read, and as much as I would like to think that I don't need a card, sometimes I do maybe need a card, and if I have to be the one to give that card to myself, so be it. A lot of the time when I pick up a card that I like and I buy it, I do often, as time wears on, feel that I can pass along that card to someone else. So since the card has been blank and unused, I send it off to someone that I think can use it the way that I liked it. And I think it's sort of a passing it along, sharing sort of a thing, but it's also very much so a self-soothing technique, at least for me. You can do this with a lot of different things depending upon your interests and likes. If you really love flowers, buy yourself a plant, buy yourself a flower when you're out. Something that's going to really speak to your heart, put a little bit of beauty into your day or into your home. Maybe you need that little piece of beauty right now because you're having a hard time, or you need a little bright spot in the place where you live, in your environment. Same thing with music. If you really have been wanting a particular CD or a song, or you hear something, let's say on the radio or from a friend that you really like and it really speaks to your heart, go ahead and buy it for yourself as a gift. You're allowed to give yourself gifts. And it's not the same maybe as all the different, popular music out there that you might just want to get because you want to use it to listen to in the car. Maybe this is a particular song or particular CD that you could really see yourself listening to when you are writing or journaling or just lying there going to sleep at night. And along those lines, there was a time maybe a few years ago that I actually made myself a mix CD and I called it Sleep Sounds. And it wasn't necessarily sounds that I wanted to put me to sleep. It was specific songs that I felt were very soothing and calming to me. And I used to have the problem where I'd be really energized and ready to go, and I'm much more a night person than I am a morning person, so I'd be doing and doing and doing, and it was really hard for me to get into the place where I could wind down and get tired enough to lay in bed and go to sleep. So I created sleep sounds so that I could, while I was working or reading or writing or doing whatever it is I was doing, listen to these particular songs. I think there was maybe 15 or so, and it would just kind of get me in the mood to be ready for bed. It would kind of calm me down and ease me into that frame of mind. And they weren't sounds that you would think of as far as, putting me actually into a sleep, but they were really calming songs by people like the Indigo Girls or Coldplay. That very calm, soothing sort of a voice and music. And it really did help me a lot. And I think it was more about giving myself maybe a little gift at the end of a long day. So maybe you already have the songs that can be a gift for you, and maybe it's about putting them onto a CD or creating a playlist on your computer that you can go to and listen to. Maybe for you it would be an upbeat playlist where when you're feeling down you can put on some music to really cheer you up. Maybe it is sort of a sleep sounds kind of a thing like it was for me. You have to decide that, but you can see that all of these different suggestions are really very simple things in concept, but you can tailor them to your own needs and your own likes, and also they really do have some kind of power to them where you can really see yourself having a different attitude or outlook or mindset or energy simply because you're doing them or practicing them. There's even simpler things than that, things like buying candles where the scent really puts you in a calming place. Lighting those at times when you're feeling extra sad or extra anxious, and maybe taking a warm bath. Things that we think of as cliched, but we kind of pass them off and wave them off as not being something that we'll actually do. And it doesn't have to be something you'll do every week, but maybe once every few months you really need that nice long bath and you really need those candles. And it's about giving yourself that if you really need it. Maybe for you it's less a bath with candles and more a walk in nature. Maybe nature is really what speaks to you, and that's what makes you feel most yourself and most at peace and at ease. And I think we often don't have the time to take those walks that we would like to, or sometimes we take a walk for the purpose of having our legs move, but we don't actually sit and stop when we're out there and sit under a tree or sit by a creek or a lake. We don't give ourselves those few moments to process and be at peace and observe all the things around us. Maybe it's the birds, maybe it's the sky, maybe it's the clouds, whatever it is for you, but you really have to allow yourself that. And just having the idea in your head that, yes, I can take 5 minutes on my walk to just sit and stop for a second on this rock and really just take a few deep breaths and just be. If nature doesn't speak to you, or if you don't live somewhere where you have the opportunity to go take a walk in nature, maybe it's an extra half hour or an hour in a cafe somewhere where you can just go and take your coffee, maybe take your laptop and just journal, or maybe it's just take a book and sit there in a booth with your coffee and really just read that book and just be. I know that for me, when I'm at home, I'll find so many things to do, even if I'm going to say, this is my time to just sit here and relax and drink a cup of tea. Sometimes it really takes a lot of strength and energy to say, okay, I'm done now. I'm just going to read this book and drink this cup of tea. I think about the emails that I need to send, or I think about the cleaning that I need to do, or I look at my cats and they distract me. I mean, there's just so many things that we find to do at home where our stuff is. So maybe you need to get in your car and head out to a cafe and just sit there for an hour where you are there, just you and a table, and whether it's a book or a laptop or a notebook, a sketch pad, whatever it is. And I'm all about rewards. I always say to the women in the eating disorder support group that I lead that it's really important to reward yourself. And I know a few of them have really jumped on that train as well because it is so cool to reward yourself. And I think we scoff at that far too often. It's cool to have someone else reward you, and it's nice to say that you're going to reward yourself if you did something good. But sometimes you build it up where you're waiting for yourself to do something really, really good, really worthy of a reward. And you don't make it as much about the little things as it needs to be. If you had a really great week, reward yourself. Doesn't mean you have to buy yourself something that costs $50. You can buy yourself something that costs $1 but has meaning to you. You can buy yourself a postcard that has a beautiful, peaceful picture on it that you're saying, this is your gift for doing well this week, and tack it up on a bulletin board. You really have to get creative with it. You really have to think of what speaks to you, what's going to help you, what's going to inspire you. Maybe your reward isn't going to be something tangible that you pay money for. Maybe it's going to be an hour in that cafe where you're not going to let yourself do any work. You're just going to be and relax. But it's important to reward yourself, and it's important to recognize that you are deserving of a reward. What I encourage you to do is think of all those nice things that you like to do for your friends or you want to do for your friends, whether it's buying a nice card for them and sending it off in the mail or whatever it is. Do those things for you. Think about what you might like, something small, something useful, something inspiring, and do it for you. We don't, I think, realize that these things can be self-soothing techniques, but they are. And there is no one main self-soothing technique. It is whatever it is for you. And you have to find out what really calms you and gives you that sense of, I can get through this, or I've done well and I'm going to reward myself. We all deserve that kind of environment, that kind of ambiance, that kind of recognition. And the beauty of it is that we can give it to ourselves if we just bother to take the 2 seconds to understand that we are worthy. I hope you have a great week, everyone. I will see you next time.